Now let's begin the conversation. When new hands take the wheel, the ship must be steadied from the helm. And what could shape his national security agenda? President Bola Tinubu held a closed-door meeting with the newly appointed service chiefs at the presidential villa in Abuja. It was their first formal briefing since their appointment, and President Tinubu reportedly urged them to deepen professionalism, enhance vigilance, and strengthen the country's security architecture. The next constitutional step now rests with the Senate, which will screen and confirm the appointment of the service chiefs before their formal decoration and rank elevation. Okay, let's begin the conversation. All right, should I start with BK or should I start with Asuka? All right, let me start with you, Asuka. Talk to me. The significance of this meeting. They've not been screened yet by the Senate, but the president had to meet with them. What's the significance of this?
No, it's normal because the other service chiefs, that is the outgoing service chiefs, their tenure ended. You know, they actually brought them, they were appointed in June 2023. And I think it is better. What the president actually did was the best. Because I know some people, I have seen so many people arguing and shouting and saying, oh, we should have left them. Oh, they're blah, blah, blah. No. Constitutionally or normally, they're supposed to stay there for 2 years. And they've been there for 2 years. And these them leaving now, they are fantastic. They've done their own work. If you check their records so far, from the CDS to the Chief of Army Staff to the Naval Chief, as well as the Chief of Air Staff, you know, they did very, very well. And this was just the appropriate time for the president to say, okay, fine, you guys have done well for the nation. Let me get new, faces and fresh ideas on how to tackle insecurity in the country. And we can't take whatever, the outgoing service chiefs, did, apart from Olufemi, who he left behind, you can't take their work because they showed professionalism in every aspect. In every aspect. Because if you look at it from the CDS, how he was able to, bring the civil military relations, into the fold, whereby people began to have confidence in the military. As well as even the tackling of insecurity. I remember back then, we were always saying something about insecurity, but at some point, we saw that it came down to at least 40%, based on, the statistics out there, by the different intelligence groups. So we'll have to give these guys, some slack. The president has seen them, and he's reposing his confidence in them. So if the commander-in-chief says, I want you to do this job, and I want you to bring fresh ideas, I think we as Nigerians should just keep calm and wait, because I believe that this president would have given them his own KPI. So based on that, we should be looking at asking what were the KPIs that the president actually gave to them, and then
how far?
Because they have 2 years. If the president wanted them to stay longer, he would have done so. But I think the president has seen so many things and feels that if I keep these people longer, like my previous government have been doing, it might dampen the morale of those on the field. Because these soldiers, most of them, they also want to go. They want to be promoted up. They want to be elevated up. So we can't keep one person staying there for long. And I think what the president actually did was just the right thing.
All right, BKO, you know so much about security, but this meeting was held behind closed doors. Imagine yourself as a fly on the wall. What do you think the president discussed with the new service chiefs here?
The president reiterated the point that, look, there is an urgent and pressing need for us to defeat insecurity in our country. Non-state actors are behaving like they own our country. They are behaving like they cannot be checked. Look at the nonsense happening in the Northwest, where non-state actors, bandits, are determining how and when people can go to their farms. They are forcing people against their will to sign deals with them, to part with their money. Otherwise, they won't be allowed to harvest their crops. How do you work throughout the year? And when it is harvest time, you are denied the opportunity to harvest your crops until you part with some money. Bandits are getting communities to pay them money in exchange for security. So these things need to stop, because these bandits are behaving like some phantom that nobody can do anything about. And the president just felt that, look, if I bring in new service chiefs, we will then see a lot of changes and reorganization along strategic, tactical, and operational levels. So this is a routine move by the commander-in-chief. Why people continue to say, oh, it's because there is a coup, this and that, I wish I understand. If you are saying the president sacked service chiefs because a coup was being planned, okay, are you saying the service chiefs that were asked to go were the planners of that coup? He didn't sack all the service chiefs. He didn't sack all the service chiefs. So are you saying now that the people who were asked to go were the planners of the coup, or the ones who were told to remain did not know anything about it? People should talk only about things that they have sufficient knowledge of. As I've said on this program on Sunday, service chiefs ordinarily are not supposed to last more than 2 years. In fact, the harmonized terms of conditions of service for officers of the Nigerian forces stipulate in Chapter 11, and I quote, an officer appointed the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff shall be a 4-star general and may hold the appointment for a continuous period of 2 years from the date of the expiration of the initial 2-year period.
That's 2 years.
The president reserves the right to extend, but what is stipulated is 2 years. The fact that a former president got them to remain in office beyond 5 years does not mean that any other president that comes will behave in that way, because that one dampened morale in the armed forces. Every class at NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy, wishes to see one of his own become a service chief. But a situation in which the service chiefs that we had during the Buhari years presided over 5 different promotion exams was unusual, unheard of. And this president is not obligated to repeat the same error, because at a time the diminishing returns set in because many officers were demotivated as a result of being stagnated, because these service chiefs were not allowed to go. Their juniors were being retired, yet they were kept in office. The Nigerian army officer is not supposed to spend more than 35 years in service. And once he is 56 years, you expect that he will begin to pack his bag. A situation in which somebody clocked 60 years, one of those service chiefs clocked 60 years, and you still kept him in office. It is wrong. It goes against the law. So Mr. President just said, no, I shouldn't make that mistake. And look, we've seen many Nigerians who came out to say, look, the crime wave is getting, insecurity is getting really bad again. Let's do something. We are human beings. Sometimes diminishing return will set in, and when it sets in, you then ask yourself, what should you do? It's not somebody's personal position, in which case he remains there. I mean, this is not like Paul Biya being in office. At 92 years, he's still a sitting president. No, our service chiefs cannot be treated like a Paul Biya that will remain in office indefinitely. No, you cannot get them to improve if you do not challenge them.
Okay.
They have to be challenged. They have to see that if they don't give their best, they will be shown the door. And I've always said that even DPOs, at every level, we must have KPIs for security operatives, leaders in the security sector, so that when they don't perform, it will be easy for us to send them packing. That's the way. And these new service chiefs, I'm sure the president has made it clear to them that he wants changes, he wants improvement. Look at Kwara, for example, a state that all along had been very safe.
Exactly.
A state in which even the 22 Armored Brigade, because Kwara was very safe, they moved a lot of the troops in 22nd Armored Brigade to the northeast because they felt it was not necessary. Even some of the policemen, mobile policemen, were transferred out of the state. Today, bandits have taken over many parts of Kwara South. So these are challenges that we face.
Okay.
And we need changes. I'm sure the president must have made it clear to them during that 40-minute meeting with them that, look, this is what I expect from you.
All right, then.
And if they do not do what the president expects of them, I expect the president to wield the big stick.
Absolutely.
That is the way to go.
Absolutely. Now, the other side of this conversation, the Senate screening, is coming soon. What should Nigerians expect?
No, what Nigerians should be looking at is we need the Senate to thoroughly ask them questions on how they can tackle, the insecurity, especially in the Northwest. It shouldn't be bow and go. It's not about bow and go.
Okay.
It should be what are you going to bring to the table? What are you going to do differently, from what the previous, service chiefs actually did. Okay. Especially look at, for instance, the naval chief, how he was able, to increase oil production by stopping pirates from, gaining access into the Nigerian waters, So we need to see a Senate that will be asking critical questions on how these service chiefs will be able to do their work. It shouldn't just be business as usual. It shouldn't be business as usual. From the chief of army staff to the chief of naval staff to the chief of the air staff, we need to see the new things they want to bring in. I want to believe that they are also preparing their books on how they would defend themselves when they get to the Senate. So that when they are asking them those things they want to do differently, Nigerians want to hear it. And perhaps some of them might even have more things they want to say. Yes. They can keep it to themselves, because we do not want the enemy to know what their next line of action will be. But at least those little things that will repose confidence in Nigerians to know that the Mr. President did not make mistake by nominating them as service chiefs. That is what we want to hear.
Absolutely. So the Senate should focus basically on competence and the strategic vision of the nominees.